Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, to part 8 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. When we last left off, we had the fugitive girl. Our grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. You still do your best to avoid the memory of grandfather's last night and spend more time on the city streets with Tomas and your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes, as you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes and the terrifying hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Arachnean family, the Ottons, as a servant. The sun has set. The pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Tomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavy embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He is an Arachnean. You overhear voices. Sir Otton, the girl's not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Dorius Otton. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must, but bring me back my servant. She's here. Sophia ran away from an Arachnean. How could this be? There's only one place on the entire street where a person could hide, the abandoned Moral House, 4 houses away from yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. The lopsided house, built of yellow brick, has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She is almost an adult now, and her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Morgan. Be quiet, they're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Otton. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. It's just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. Sophia winches and closes her mouth as she says this. There's a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the men I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Ottons. They don't want to be the target of their ire. But you aren't going to tip them off, are you? The barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Otton's servants is so close you can hear his cloak swishing around the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You have already heard his voice today. If you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven, and you will go back where you were. You know it, and if you don't, I'll drag you out by the hair. Oh no. Oh dear. The hilt of the young Arachnean's sword bashes at the door. He's about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Arachnean's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? You'll protect your friend even if you have to defy the young Arachnean. Oh, I mean, that means I could die. I can't bring her back. I wouldn't do that anyway. And I can't help her flee because my ingenuity is too low. Or I could hide alone. I mean, I died once to save Sophia. Am I really going to risk that again? You know, things have become too dangerous, and I'm not able to influence her fate again. I'm really sorry, Sophia, but I can't stop an Arachnean. You swiftly turn away from Sophia's desperate gaze and flee to cower in a dark corner. A pained sigh reaches your ears. I knew it. You do not respond. You need to hide. The front door slams open. Heavy footsteps echo from the entrance. The irate Arcanian strides right past your hiding place, paying you no heed whatsoever. Where are you, you little tramp? There's no hiding from me. A shadowy figure streaks past you. Sophia? A high-pitched, furious scream slices through the silence. A blinding golden flash explodes in front of you, a sudden cascade of sparks burning through the darkness. As you blink, stunned, Otten's tall figure freezes and suddenly collapses. The golden sparks are still dancing before your eyes. A sudden pain seems to rupture your skull from the inside. Through the light and the pain, you barely catch a glimpse of Sophia as she dashes past the prone Arcanian and runs out the door. It takes Otten a few moments to regain his senses. He gets up with a curse and runs after Sophia. So, she's a witch too, eh? Get her, now! Oh my god. You hear men running, shouting and barking orders on the other side of the wall. You lie there on a pile of old bricks, rubbing your eyes. The strange stupor slowly leaves you. You get to your feet and walk unsteadily out of the abandoned house. The danger has passed. Wow, that's another kid that's a magician. Or a witch. I still think my decision was the right one. I just couldn't risk dying again for her. You walk back home, lost in thought. So Sophia is a witch. You recall how her magic bound Otten by the arms and legs, how he lost all control of his body. The runaway servant girl becomes the talk of the district for an entire week. You hear that Sophia has managed to flee the city. The Ottens are furious. Okay, that's not too bad. Embittered. After what you did, Sophia realized that the world is cruel and does not deserve to be spared. That sounds like something that's going to come back and bite me. Sophia vanished from your life just as suddenly as she came. You will not see her again for quite some time. My willpower's gone up though. God, that's lethal. (11:33). 15 years old. I mean, I kind of regret that now, because if I had tried to stop him, she might have used the magic and we could have both ran away. But I didn't know she had magic. You're about to turn 15, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. Year 1133, summer. The blood-stained sermon. No, don't you dare leave home today, I forbid it. That dirty heretic Photis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance at each other again. Photis, he's a patriarch, the head of the clergy throughout the entire province. This is the first time you've heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear that sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Photis? Why does Mother hate him so? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estate. There is barely enough room for you to squeeze to the crowd. The crowd has gathered along the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up to the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. And not a moment too soon. From the roof you see a tall, silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree, dressed in the common black robe that looks far beneath his rank, yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind, the open book. This is the symbol of the new faith. The crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hand up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Photis speaks of a great mistake. We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world, but for all these years the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Isateus. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar, of this we have no doubt, but how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Eatheus, I have to get his name right, Isatheus, fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Archnean, low-born or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods in their account of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. The crowd at the silent tree listens to the patriarch's speech in stunned silence. You glance at your sister, her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Photis's words. Then suddenly, a hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields and the commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begin to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform, a dirty beggar dressed in rags, a knife flashes in his hand. The blade slices, blood starts spurting from Photis' throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where he had stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence and then the screams begin. The people are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in an inquisitor's cassock tries in vain to apply pressure to the patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying and shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in your room. You cannot discuss the things you've just seen, they are too frightening, but your parents discuss every little detail of the bloodstained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable! A patriarch murdered in plain sight. The John Doms and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Photis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted greater power by the twins' will, there's no hope for you to come back, not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, head of great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Ah, now that's quite interesting. Photis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the true old faith before the moment of his passing. I mean, what does it say that the patriarch of the old faith turned to the new faith? There is little hope for that. We're down to discontent. And slowly the old faith is losing power. I mean, that's really interesting because I'm going to have to decide at some point whether I want to be a new or old faith clergy. You know, do I want to prop up a system that's so unjust, or do I want to be a part of the new faith but brings risks like that? The last night. Tomorrow you turn 16. According to imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tibor's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Tomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervour to be ennobled by the mantle, as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the blue book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then, Mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favour of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. They've been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stefan and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been down Crest all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Morgan. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There is no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you'll tell him all the stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All the lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You will walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read you fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all her time. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. Oh god. They're all unlocked as well. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms. But you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan. It'll be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with? I'd like to go spend some time with Nathan because I haven't spent that much time with him and I'm not that close with him. You know, I'm quite good friends with Gloria. Oh, my mum isn't grateful. She could be grateful, but she isn't. That's a shame. And my dad. Oh dear. I think I'm going to rule out Gloria and Father just because, you know, the relationship is quite good, especially with Father. Like, it's already 5. Gloria's 5 as well. Mother's only 4. And Nathan. I mean, you know what? I think I'm going to pick Nathan. I didn't choose him last time to study for my exams, so maybe I should spend time with him now. Or Mother. I don't know. I'm going to go see Nathan. Nathan is already in bed, snoring. You approach your brother quietly and pat him on the head. He is startled. Oh feck. The fact that this option wasn't locked makes me think that I should have chosen one of the other ones. But anyway. You approach your brother quietly and pat him on the head. He is startled, but starts smiling with joy when he realizes it is you. Hi, hey, can we go outside? I need your help with something. You creep silently downstairs. The air outside is damp and drops of dew glisten in the night. Nathan drags you towards the bushes. A spotted kitten looks at you from the bushes with sad eyes. You see a bowl of water and some scraps of food next to it. Look, he ran into our yard today. See, he's got a broken paw, but we need to save the poor kitten. You pat Nathan on the head. Together you sneak the poor animal into the house and you take him to the storage closet. Then you close the closet door and begin the treatment. If anyone is clumsy in your family, it is Nathan, yet his hands are unusually accurate and calm as he binds the kitten's paw. Oh, I'm kind of wondering if I would have got an increase in spirit if I had went with Mom, but anyway. You start chatting as you treat the kitten. As you think out loud about living in the capital and working towards your goal, Nathan strokes the poor animal's wet fur. He sighs. It's tough for me, you know, thinking about being a grown-up. I'm not much of anything even now. I wish I could be like you. You sure know where you're going and who you're going to be. You shrug. No, I mean it. I can't be like that. They say I'm going to study too and go to Eterna and become a priest or go to the college, but there's no way I can make it there. Does that mean there's nothing else out there for me? You'll be leaving soon, and I'll be all alone here. You'll write to me, I know you will, and you'll come back one day, but I'm scared. Scared I might lose my way when you're not around. You'll come back, but it'll be different. You'll be different. I'll be different too. You swear to Nathan that even if everything changes, you will always be his brother. You will always be there to offer him advice and support, and you have no doubt that he will find his way in life. It just takes time to find yourself, sometimes more than you might expect. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip. You are not tired at all. Nevertheless, it is time for bed. Before you leave, Nathan hugs you again. Please promise you'll come back, Morgan. You swear to him that you will. You get into bed and fade away into a gentle, happy sleep. They will be waiting for you back here, no matter what. I got willpower back, which is good. But if I lost my chance of getting more spirituality, I'll be upset. But anyway, departure from home, year 1133. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Wow. The end of adolescence. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anisot. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt a tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed first-hand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Tomas taught you many things, how to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. I know Tomas is waiting to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? Whew, that's the end of chapter 2, Adolescence. We met Tomas, we saved Sophia, we fell in love with the Arcanian, we started school, we saved Stephen, our grandfather died, we had the blood tide. So much happened. We're a dignified noble, which is great. Our ingenuity is quite low, which is a shame, but I didn't really come across many options to improve that, I don't think, or at least I didn't notice them. Our spirituality is lower than I thought it would be. I would kind of had hoped to be around 4 or 5 at this stage, but I didn't make the right decisions for that. If I had chosen to go speak to one of the priests at the Silver Tree instead of meditating there, I would have got an extra increase there, and I have a feeling I would have got one if I had went to go see Mom. But anyway. Our willpower is great, we're full of power. At 15, that gives us 4 chances, I think. 10, 5, 0, yeah. Well, 3 to 0. I only died once so far, which is good, I think. And we continue on to being a young adult. Youth. And the revolt grows ever closer. 16 years of age.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the Empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
And what will that role be? Leaving home. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Tomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You've often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anisot enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there? And where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anisot. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Tomas built together out of old wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned. Or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. But they are behind you now, in Anisot. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is a journey you were prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lies many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and place in society. Oh, new personal qualities. These are your personal qualities in adulthood, which you will use in the rest of your life. They are the sum of the qualities you have earned in childhood and adolescence. Oh, nice. So because I was quite perceptive and dignified, my diplomacy is quite high. I'm influential. Just barely, though. I'm not received in the elite circles. So diplomacy is our new skill. Your proficiency in the laws of the Empire, as well as your connections and influence among the ruling elite and high society, it affects your ability to negotiate with people of importance. It's most important to the judge. Perception and ingenuity. My manipulation. I'm naive. Your ability to influence people by way of deception and trickery and use them to achieve your goals. Most important to the conspirator. Okay, we're certainly not going to be a conspirator then. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Perception being good and my spirituality being still quite low. And just by one makes me a neophyte. Just your proficiency with sacred text, comprehension of the divine law, and ability to construct and defend your own interpretation of the faith. Most important to the inquisitor. So, it seems like the noble is the best option for us, but valor, my determination, and my nobility. I'm a mediocre fighter. Oh god, everything is pretty crap. Determination, bright, I'm an inexperienced schemer. My determination and I'm tongue-tied. That's interesting. Doesn't look like a really good option to becoming a priest. Life paths that you will choose from in this chapter. The path of the lawless. You remain in the common estate with no choice but to fend for yourself and make your own way in the world. You enroll in the seminary hoping to become a priest and assume the lot of the clergy. My theology has to be equal or greater to 10, and my eloquence. Path of the nobleman, which actually I've already got. I'm guaranteed to be a nobleman if I want to be. Like your father and grandfather, you will enroll in the Imperial College, hoping to become a judge and nobleman of the mantle. That's actually really surprising, I've already got both of them. Or I could have a true death. Your earthly life is over. You leave the world forever and face the judgment of the twins. I accept true death, or my debts equal 4. Events in this chapter. Collapse of the Lotless. A-list, the Lotless at large. Bond of friendship. Shield of the new faith. Shield of the old faith. Victory in tournament. Okay, eloquence and theology is what we're going to work on. I will become a priest. I shall become an inquisitor. 1134, 16 years of age. So, I'm going to leave this video here. I think it seems like a good point to mark the ending of adolescence and starting youth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you think I made some bad decisions or some good decisions. What do you think about the end of the chapter? About my skills? Should I go for noble? Should I become a priest? Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a nice day.